month, social media was in shock at the words of Industry Cabinet Secretary Moses Kuria's words. Yes, we will ban Mitumba once he found a healthy alternative. Everyone was shocked. How could he ban a market that became a staple to the simple Kenyan life? But it should never be like this. My name is Rebecca Kaisha, and today I'll talk to you about the rise and the fall of the Kenyan textile industry. The Kenyan textile industry earns billions each year, 33.1 billion in 2021, but we're still at a loss because all the clothes produced and made in Kenya are deemed to go to these larger export markets, such as the USA under the AGOA agreement and the United Kingdom. Although in Africa, we have the AFC-FTA agreement, which developed free trade within Africa. Although why do all our clothes still go out? But first, let's focus on the industry. The Kenyan textile industry is the same as any other industry. It has three main points: the inputs, which is the farming, and today we'll be focusing on the cotton farming. The second part is the processes, which is the factories and the people that work there, and the outputs, the market. Let's begin in cotton. The cotton industry is dominated by roughly 40,000 workers, small-scale workers in Kenya. Cotton is a very lucrative plant. We, in recent years, have seen the large effects of climate change in our lands, as people, not only in northern Kenya, but all around Kenya, are suffering from severe droughts. But cotton is drought intolerant. It's available to the farmer that can't afford expensive irrigation systems, or irrigation systems as a whole. It's suitable for the family that can't afford to waste their time waiting on unpredictable rains to water their crops, to see what they're going to have for supper, for lunch, breakfast, or even if they're going to eat anything at all. If we paid as much attention to the cotton industry, it shouldn't be like this. If larger companies worked more here, and even smaller farmers that are just looking for something simple to plant to create a profit, why don't they turn to cotton? Cotton not only contributes to the textile industry, but the agricultural industry, as the wastage is used as fertilizer. Well, this cotton is then moved to a textile factory. But what's the one problem in these textile factories? Is that the amount of cotton produced in Kenya isn't enough for them. We produce roughly 10,000 to 20,000 bales of cotton each year, which is far below the demand of 70,000. So we have to export cotton from larger countries such as Germany and China. Then we move to the garment factories. These garment factories also have to import from these bigger countries because the amount of textiles being produced isn't enough. How is our system failing like this? Kenya used to have a very, very impressive textile industry where all clothes were bought in stores such as Deacon's, which sadly closed down in 2018 due to being over 1 billion Kenyan shillings in debt, Njiri's, or other stores in Biashara Street where you would go for all your shopping needs. If not, you could go to your local tailor who is skilled in his or her work, and could make you clothes or refit ready-made clothes. But although these clothes were cheap, second-hand clothes were cheaper, which meant that more people started buying these second-hand clothes, which led to the closing down of big corporations in Kenya that contributed so much to our economy. Toy Market sits on roughly 6 acres of land with large, unknown amounts of clothes. Although it's the third most profitable business in Kenya to start, it's the most damaging, not only to the textile industry, but to the environment. Second-hand clothes are unregulated. Most of these factories can rely heavily on child labor, but no one will ever know. They can use such cheap products that they contain harmful chemicals such as lead that not only harm us, but the environment. But no one will ever know. And the saddest part is that majority of our population has to go to markets such as Toy Market to get these clothes because they're the only affordable clothes, the only clothes that they can, they're the only suitable clothes that they can wear. Sorry. If we begin working on our cotton industry, we can get ready for a bigger future. The World Bank predicted that the cotton industry in Kenya can sustain up to 10.1 million workers. And yet, where there are only 50,000 working there now, it can't even compare to the 500,000 in 1983. There's so many people out of work, out of jobs, looking for work, and yet the textile industry is neglected. We must work on it now. The alternative that Moses Kuria was looking for is all around us. It's in the small farms and in the large abandoned factories. It's in the price tags in shops that most people can't even afford. It's in everything around us and in everyone involved. Africa is the future, therefore we must start working on it now. Let us make these small changes, even if it's just looking for a Made in Kenya tag in your future clothing endeavors, to make big changes. Thank you.